Hello, and welcome to another episode of Break the Cycle with me, your host, Joshua Smith. Thank you guys so much for checking us out on our 5 shows a week spree that we're getting ready to do. I appreciate you guys. We got a really good one for you tonight, but let's start off with some sponsors. Of course, we have Lorenzotti.coffee for all your delicious Italian coffee needs delivered directly to your door. Bring the taste of Italy home. Use BTC at checkout for a 10% discount. And my friend, my main man, my partner on the show, TopLobster.com for all your wonderful graphic needs. Check out his website. You can get this awesome Epstein Didn't Kill Himself shirt that I'm wearing tonight for 10% discount if you use BTC at checkout, of course. And our executive producers, AnthemPlanning.com for all your emergency and crisis needs. Definitely check them out. See what they can do for you today. Wonderful people. Guys, I'm stoked. We have an awesome show going for you today. I've been trying to get this one off for a while. He is the man behind Black Guns Matter and one of the most badass libertarians you're ever going to meet. He is Mr. Maj Toure. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, what's up, man? How y'all feeling?
Oh,
good?
Hell yeah, man. You know, I can't complain. Thank you so much for coming on, brother.
For sure, man. I appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. So let's just start off with Black Guns Matter, man. This is a really important movement that you started. You've done a lot of work. What is Black Guns Matter, and why did you start it?
Going into like the 2016 elections, me and my partner at the time saw a lot of everybody saying, you know, we need a license to carry drive. We need a voter's registration drive. We need a voter's registration drive, which was okay, cool. I feel that. But then we jokingly, but not so jokingly, also said, yo, we need a license to carry drive. And so we did this event in Philly, you know, and we called it Black Guns Matter. And all of these people came from all over, like, different cities. And we noticed that there were so many questions about lawful firearms ownership. And in doing so, we just basically said, like, yo, this is something that we should actually do. Like, this is a problem that we can fix with just some information. So we did it, and we just kept steamrolling. Initially, we were going to be like 13 cities, like the first 13 original colonies. The number 13 has some very good metaphysical properties to it. It represents the number from the transformation from the physical to the spiritual. That's why it's always like the 12 nights and then King Arthur, like the 12 months and then, you know, fucking the new year, you know, like the 12 disciples and 13 makes Jesus type shit. So anyway, we thought that was cool. So we had an initial goal. We wanted to make the classes free to everyone. And our initial goal was like 25 grand. And we did that. And every time that we hit a new goal, more people would email us like, yo, that's crazy. You didn't even come to our town. You know, we need you to keep doing this work. And so it just started to snowball. And in essence, what Black Guns Matter has turned into is more so than just an organization. It's more just like a movement. It's just people that see that gun control is not only is it un-American, it has deep roots in racism, like actual racism, not like you wore a red hat or I disagree with you, so you're racist bullshit, but like an actual racism. Like, so it just kept snowballing. And what I've noticed in the last, and traveling around the country over the last now 5 years, it's time to really concentrate and make everybody get kind of local again. You know what I'm saying? And local in a good way. I've noticed a lot of people saying like, oh, he's local, you know, we global, not local. Like even making that the slang, like that shit is cool. You know, when the power is at the local level, when you grow your own groceries or fruits and veggies, and then have the ability to cut out the middleman, i.e. cut out the need for the state and, you know, centralized money supply. I mean, we don't generally put those things together, and with Black Guns Matter, all of these things started to kind of like mesh together. Local laws, you know, unchecked, unconstitutional shit starts to spread into federal shit. So we inadvertently turned into a movement based on just supplying an answer to, you know, or a solution to something that the people needed. And it's been a wild 5 years. I've been like, I don't even know how many times I've been across the country at this point, but it's been a very good ride and I'm very appreciative. Right now we have a goal, you know, and the goal has always been people saying you should raise the goal up to this. Now we've raised, I think, about maybe $428,000 and given it away.
Sure.
I'm saying, like, that's the real flex is that we gave it away. Like we gave all of the money away. Like I have to say that sometimes because people be like, well, you got rich off of Black Guns Mad. I'm like, first of all, your definition of rich is very relative. You know what I'm saying? Number two, it's not sitting in the account. We already spent it, you know? And so to be able to say, you know, we did the right thing and informed a lot of people, and we had a stated goal of making the Black community, turn that off real quick, making the Black community, which was the target of this racist practice of gun control, making them the largest gun buying demographic. That was one of our stated goals in the beginning. And as of like March 2019, that we did that. So now it's time to shift that into, this is where the homicides start happening, when they come try to kill you. Now it's time to turn that into political power, you know, which is, okay, we got everybody to buy guns. Now everybody that buys guns from that demographic, that's the largest gun buying demographic. Imagine if all of those people switched to libertarian.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much what Black Guns Matter is and was. And, you know, we'll see where it goes after 2022.
Sure. You talk some about racism and gun control, right? And we hear this term systemic racism quite a bit, right? And I think 90% of the time people have no fucking idea what they're talking about when they say systemic racism. Like, this is what systemic racism is. It's these laws that were built into the very fabric of this country to keep certain ethnicities down and to make sure that they can be controlled easier. So can you talk a little bit about, like, you know, Jim Crow era gun laws and how that has affected the Black community? Yeah,
we ain't even got to go even that far back. We can. So it's a trick bag. Those guys that say systemic racism have a point. But the national founding documents, like the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, don't support that point.
Right.
Which is how people that are kind of bigoted kind of like get away from it, right? That's the beauty of like certain types of racism. It's like evasive. It's like Azazel in that movie, Fallen, with Denzel Washington. So my point there is, the Constitution doesn't say, hey, don't give the blacks the guns. It doesn't. State governments, like North Carolina is an example I use all the time. They amended their state constitution to say, basically, one from like every free man can own a gun, I'm obviously paraphrasing, to like every able-bodied white male can own a gun, right? So, but the state, whether that's on the federal level or you know, state meaning area, that legitimized that. And then it started to happen all across the country. So, but the irony is, the framework, the supreme law of the land, didn't word it that way. So it's a trick bag. It's like layered, right? So, but then you have the conversation of, okay, well, if the Constitution and the Bill of Rights didn't call for these things, then you would be able to fight some things all the way up to the, you know, national Supreme Court and get things corrected. But then in certain instances, it was applied improperly. Like the most famous example of the Supreme Court making the worst decision ever was the Dred Scott decision.
True.
You know? And so when you talk about systemic to someone that doesn't want to look at America's ugly history as it is, you know, there's great things and there's horrible things. Because it's elusive, and if that person doesn't study enough, they don't really know what systemic means in that regard. To your point, 90% of the people saying it don't know what the fuck, you know, it's like the Princess Bride. You keep repeating that word. I don't think you think it means what you think it means. You know, so in that case, that's kind of like what we're dealing with in that regard. So you're almost like telling somebody that is unaware, and you're trying to share it with them, so then they make you feel like, or attempt to make you feel like, you just hate America. And that's not the case. The history of America is a part of America. So that systemic portion of it absolutely was woven into the very early stages. Now, some people would say, well, it's not racist now because it encapsulates everybody, all ethnicities, right? And to that, usually I say stuff like, you know, let's say if I was a black supremacist, right? And I was like, I hate, which is kind of backwards, but I'll give it this way, because I think white guys are getting beat up a lot now in the media. So I'll make it like towards me, right? Let's say I'm a black supremacist and I say, I want to rape just primarily white women. Now, everybody, this is a paraphrase to illustrate a point.
Yeah, careful, man. The Fakertarians are on their way right now.
Right. somebody will like chop that one part out and be like, my shit.
Yeah.
So let's say if I said I hate white people, but ironically I want to like rape white women, right? And then I start raping a bunch of white women. Then I get the bright idea to say, you know what? I think, even though I hate white people and white women, and I'm raping white women, I think that to solidify more power and domination, I'll start raping Asian women. I'll start raping Hispanic women. I'll just rape. I'll start raping white dudes. Everybody. Everybody's going to get raped. You wouldn't say, well, I'm not racist then. You would just go, you're racist and you're a shitbag.
Right.
You're racist and you're trying to utilize that to dominate other things. But that doesn't like, because I rape a different group of people, now I'm no longer racist. That's not like the fuck how it goes.
Right.
So when saying all of that to illustrate a point, when something starts as racist, it has the intended agenda. It impacts that particular demographic a certain way, and then it expands its want for control. It's still what it was. And especially when the outcome now, currently, however many hundred years later, is still the same. The vast majority of people impacted by these so-called gun control laws, which are unconstitutional, which are in contradiction to the supreme law of the land, Second Amendment, and the Bill of Rights. The people still impacted by that most negatively are black and brown people. So it's still doing the raping to the black people, but now it's just decided to rape a bunch of other people along with that. So now you go from racist to also classist to also status to you know, and I say status in the sense of we want to have the power, we don't want you to have the power. Explaining that in a nuanced way to someone that, especially people that have a love for America, has been some of the most difficult work, because, you know, we've been in this space where taking somebody down the rabbit hole of a book that they've never read before and then kind of like giving them a crash course of how this is racist. And even if they're pro-gun, right, pro-Second Amendment, they still may say they're being attacked so much in media, especially white dudes attacked right now, that they're defensive to even the concept. So even our shirts that say "Make Racist Afraid Again," white dudes are like, "Oh man, you're gonna make people think that as a white dude, that means all white dudes." No, the word racist has a fucking definition. What it means is a person that believes that another racial group is inferior or superior to another.
Sure.
The argument about, well, some people can't be racist because they don't have enough power, I don't agree with that. Just because you can't rape somebody because you're weak doesn't mean you're not potentially a rapist or don't have the thought of raping a motherfucker. So my point in saying all of this, without too many more rapey fucking analogies, right?
There goes my monetization's out the window, dude.
It's really showcasing people in a way like, look, there is a way to recognize the ills of on our nation's flag, the stains on that flag, without saying, hey, let's throw the whole flag and the whole country away, while defending against an agenda from entities outside and maybe even now inside our nation that wants to weaken and destroy the republic. We also got to acknowledge, maybe if we weren't so involved in other people's shit internationally, maybe these people wouldn't be wanting to weaken and destroy the republic.
True.
So holding ourselves accountable to these things, including race and the founding and the early and embryonic stages of this nation, acknowledging that while not being like this fake, like, oh, I'm white, so I have to like atone for the sins. Not that extreme bullshit either, but having that and really treating people based on the principles that were written down. What was written and how it was applied was kind of like the bullshit. And since it was the bullshit, we have to correct that by being honest about it. Stop taking every honest critique and objective critique of our nation as saying that, you know, that person hates America, or stop taking the things that happened in the past and acting like we haven't made some strides in the direction of trying to correct that. You know what I mean? All of those things are nuanced and balanced, and I fear that the general public doesn't read enough, and we've been these sweatshop phones have made us very polarized to the extent that we don't really understand that someone giving you a constructive criticism is actually helping you, you know? So that's my view on the whole race thing. It's in regards to the guns, but it's actually, it extends outside of just the gun thing.
Sure. Yeah, I was going to bring that up. So I talked about this with Scott Horton. It's good. I love Scott to death. I know you've got to meet Scott a bunch of times and stuff as well. He laid it out in a way that was crazy, because I never thought about it like this. But the drug war, right, is really a war on the Second Amendment, because if they pick you up for drugs and you have a gun on you, now you got a federal charge, right? And so the drug war is so I've always talked about the systemic race. To me, the systemic racism that exists in the United States today is definitely the Second Amendment, the attacks on the Second Amendment, but also the drug war is 100% was started for racist reasons. We could see it in the discrepancies between crack and cocaine sentencing. I mean, you could still see it today. You know, as somebody, you know, I didn't grow up in one of the burbs like some of these other nice libertarians. I'm from right outside of Oakland, right? And you're from Philly, so you get it. Like, it's, you know, you could call it an inner city problem, but really, you know, we know who lives in the inner cities, you know, and so does the government. So do the people that make these laws, right? Right. So, I mean, you have the same? I'm sure you've had the same view of the drug war as well, right?
The drug war, you can't call it a war.
Sure.
Wars end. It's not a war. It's not it's a cute word to like villainize. It's like in the media, they do this thing called phantom attribute. Like, they'll attribute this thing to like this phantom entity, right? So when someone's trying to like get me on a gotcha moment, usually when I do media, they'll say some shit like, well, some people would say, I destroy that by going, I've never heard that. Who said that? Who told you that? Who said that?
Sure. And
they can't tell you who said that because it's a phantom attribute. It's the same thing with the war on drugs, the war on terror, the war on poverty, the war on COVID. Fuck out of here. A war is based on you motherfuckers violated our bodies or our property. Now you have to atone for that, or we're going to shoot you. That's what a war is. Whether that's the street, whether that's geopolitics, it's the same. Any other shit is some shit that you calling something to justify. We can't really go over there legitimately, and we got to create a boogeyman. And we absolutely aren't going to get fucking Congress to vote majority in going over there in the first place, like we're actually supposed to fucking do when we decide that we want to go to war. But the general public doesn't read, and they've been isolated outside of civics. So it's an easy picking for them. It's smooth. It's what I call a beautiful ugly. So yeah, I feel that same way about the war on drugs. War, like, this is caffeine. It's coffee. It's a drug. There's white sugar in there. That shit is 6 times more addictive than fucking cocaine. It's in everything. Your body doesn't know, like, the government sanctioned this one. Your body's like, I'm addicted to fucking sugar now. You know what I mean? So they're very good. I mean, the people, your listeners will get it. They're very good at making something look like, oh man, we got to get rid of this. When in reality, they're just, you know, funding shit, Iran-Contra type bullshit, like poppy fields. It's a story that damn near is since the beginning of time type shit. And that's why the people resonate with a libertarian message. That's why they work so hard to A, make sure that it's not in inner cities. B, because there's a high concentration of people that would get it if explained properly. And B, they put people in the libertarian movement to deliberately derail it. You know what I mean? And it's smart. It's smart. When you playing chess, when somebody make a good move, not only do you not let them know that it's a good move, but you also don't like knock the chessboard over. You just play, you just make your moves. So their moves are their moves. You know, but yeah, the war on drugs is a consensual agreement. It's, you know, when I sold Tree and H and E and Hard and Soft and pills and whatever, or DVDs, pick your whatever. You happen to have the thing. I happen to have the money for the thing that you have that I want. You want the money that I have. I have the stuff that you have. That's a voluntary transaction. That's called fucking commerce.
Sure.
It doesn't become violent until the state says, "Oh, you motherfuckers." I mean, can you imagine the wars that would happen in America if the government said coffee is fucking unlawful now?
Yeah, it would be insane.
More motherfuckers would die than religion.
No shit. People, hey man, my fiance would be the first person out there taking on the government. There's no doubt about it. She would be
strapped. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? I can't have coffee. Exactly. I will murder you over this coffee.
So I got another super chat from Bank Switch Tickler, and at the end of it, he said he hopes my kid's doing better. My 6-month-old son had to have surgery today. They found a bad hernia and stuff, but she's upstairs laying with him. While we watch him breathe and stuff and make sure he's okay in recovery. And she's texting me like, "Did you make a pot of coffee before your show? I need coffee. Did you make?" Like she would be nuts. She would be out there literally slaying fools like a barbarian.
It's a drug, and us as adults make decisions on which drugs we choose.
Sure.
And it's not just the stuff that you smoke or shoot or ingest orally. It's the stuff that you watch. It's the shit you listen to, things that you choose to be addicted to. It's a substance that is isolated from its actual being. Like, once I extract and refine white sugar from the sugar cane, it's now a drug by definition. So we can't let the state dictate to like maneuver themselves in a position of superiority. We're allowing them to shape the definitions of what we think is acceptable or not. And that's what the war on drugs is. To get to the other ultimate goal of, let's say war on drugs because drugs are bad. Okay, but I can smoke cigars. I got cigars right there. Like, that shit is fucking, there's a box of lung cancer right there that 100,000 people a year die from, but the state says this one's okay. We just have to make people understand that from a spiritual space, your choices and your liberties are your own.
Sure.
And so the war on drugs and drugs included. And obviously, when you show and see, the danger about that is the drive for it would drop. Portugal did a great job over there with cutting down on violent crime by going like, look, y'all are on your own. Use drugs. We're not chasing you for the shit. We actually also aren't fucking helping you to the same extent. We'll help you a little bit, but we ain't got time for it. Violent crime drops. Like, damn near, fucking, like, I'm paraphrasing,
it was
like
a lot.
8%.
Yeah, almost
like a
70-something%. Yeah, it was a lot. And the drug-induced overdoses and deaths dropped by like over 50% too, because people weren't afraid to go get help.
America wants crime.
Sure.
It's America's drug. You're addicted to it. You want crime. All of them buildings downtown, 90% of them they're fucking unnecessary. They're there to justify their own existence by crime.
Sure.
It's just what it is. And I know I sometimes think like the founding fathers to this nation, and obviously I'm in a bit of a, I still got this fucking alarm. I don't want to disrupt the thing, but
oh, we good,
to try to figure out. Yeah.
You're flowing. It's good. It's good.
I sometimes think like, would the founding fathers, with their contradictions, if they just woke up, like if Thomas Paine, forget the founding fathers, let's go to Thomas Paine, right? If Mame or George Mason, right? If they woke up right now and they woke up at TSA at the airport, and somebody explained to them what that shit was, how would they want to just start shooting shit up right now,
real quick,
or would they be proud? And it's a hypothetical, but I don't think that the general public really understands what freedom actually means. I think that, mass media, corporatized media do a very good job of painting the picture of freedom as a symbol, not a substance. Right now, we got people arguing about the shorty that chose to not stand for the fucking national anthem. But they're not talking about the author of that fucking national anthem. Francis Keys was a shitty dude.
Right.
Was a shitty dude that owned humans, literally used his power to fight against abolitionist movements, which was freedom fighters. He used his power to fight against that was mad when black people in America that were captives at the time, when the British was like, yo, bro, if you can escape and come over here, we'll give you land if you fight. Wrote that third verse and then get mad that people that may know about that third verse don't want to celebrate it. That doesn't mean that you hate America or the opportunities that, you know, honestly have afforded us. It just means, you know, like some of the bullshit in the past was bullshit. I don't think that the general public studies enough to recognize how much that shit is intertwined from a legislative, cultural, and social perspective. Now, the information about it is what allows me to not be restricted by it. You know what I'm saying? So I go like, oh yeah, that's the thing. Cool. As long as you don't really like try to like impart that shit on me, cool, you're welcome to think that way. But I don't think the general public really gets how much that was intertwined. And I ain't even talking about going all the way back. You could fast forward all the way up to fucking redlining. Like the civil rights movement was in the 60s, bro. That was like 50, 60 years ago. Like, you know, we can't. My grandmother just passed a few months ago, right? She was almost 100. My grandmother wasn't able to participate fully as an American citizen for a vast portion of her life. Like, and I think that the general public doesn't really study that. And America, the corporatized media, makes it look real symbolic, not understanding somebody actually fighting for freedom. If you want to shoot heroin, I think it's stupid. But it's also not my body.
Right.
I'm also going to inform you if you're around me, yo, bro, drink some water. Yo, bro, let's go to the gym. Yo, bro, get some salad. You know what I'm saying? But if you, in your heart of hearts, with your property, want to shoot heroin, I don't think the same state that sanctions smoking cigars and other things, liquor, I don't think they are the moral authority to determine what you can or cannot put in your body. And so informing people is how we win that culture war, to make people start making different decisions. And I know, you know, I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but all of these things are absolutely connected. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the tangents are great, man. That's what Break the Cycle is all about, man. Just relax it and tell it like it is. We do got some super chats though that I want to address. We got Bang Switch Tickler in the same one when he talked about hoping my kid was doing better. He said, Maj, every time I rock a Black Guns Matter shirt to the range, people ask where they can buy it. So I'm hoping you're selling a ton in Colorado and New Mexico.
Yeah. BlackGunsMatterShop.com. Just go get it. We over there.
Top Lobster, the man who does all the art on the show. He's the one that drew you like Malcolm X. I don't know if you.
Yeah.
That was
I did see it.
That was a dope one.
That was.
He said Maj came to Brooklyn 2 years ago with Hotep Jesus to talk liberty and guns. Thank you for that. Something that needs to be talked about more over here. Let's see. MD says next time have a crypto address ready to go. Pleb, use half for coffee for the fiance and use the other half for a Black Guns Matter shirt for your son because he's a fighter. Yes, I agree.
Salute.
Kenneth Calhoun says I appreciate the work, gents, and I'm looking forward to locally funded nukes and F-15s.
Yeah. Yo, I got a flamethrower like a couple of years ago, bro. I seen this commercial and it was like a Joe Biden thing. It was like, you can't, dude stays saying some wrong shit about the Second Amendment. But anyway, he was like, you can't have a flamethrower. And it was like, you can have a flamethrower. And it was like, it was amazing. It was amazing. So yeah, like all of that, nukes, fucking cannons, all of that shit. I'm here for it.
Was it the Tesla? Was it the Elon Musk one?
No, it's called Throw Flame. I think the website is throwflame.com.
Oh man,
they're not a sponsor. They didn't pay me to say that.
Nice. Well, I now that I live somewhere where it snows, you know, from the Bay Area, and it doesn't snow where I'm from, and now I live in Iowa now, where we deal with a lot of snow, and I'm like, you know, it might be better to just get a flamethrower and just melt the snow on my driveway every week.
That's what I use it for.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, we can have pretty much. We just passed constitutional carry here. Have you worked at all with the 10th Amendment Center on their pushes for constitutional carry and stuff?
No,
like that?
I haven't. And my guy Pete Brownell is over there in Iowa too.
Oh,
huge shouts to him. And Brownells have been very supportive of Black Guns Matter from the very beginning. But no, I haven't yet. A lot of that part of the country, because not all, but a lot of parts of the country in that area have they didn't have the same concentration of like at that time when we started BGM, that same level of attack, right? Our goal was like go to areas where there was the most worst gun control first, then start going. You know what I mean? So like New Mexico, Utah, we did a few in Arizona, but Arizona's generally good on guns. You know what I'm saying? North Dakota, South Dakota. We're gonna be in South Dakota next month. Actually, shit, in a couple of weeks now. At this point,
for Freedom Fest, right?
Yeah, yep.
I might drive. Yep. I might drive up there for that because I'm only like 5 hours away, 4.5, 5 hours away now. So I might make it up there for that, man. Let's see. Level 0 says Maj is a badass speaking the truth. He's got a way with analogies. Yes, sir. And a lot of people are saying Maj for VP in the chat, man. What's up with that?
I don't know. Shouts to my man Mike. Mike been pushing that. Mike Hype.
Oh yeah.
To be honest, man, I think I'm gonna retire like after this year.
That's what you were talking. You were talking about that. What's that mean for you, man?
It means learning how to grow food and do basic dude stuff like Pat McNamara would be saying on the gram. I mean, Pat Mac, right? So at a certain point, so we raised and gave away a bunch of money, which is a small amount of money when you think about it. The car that I want costs like $300,000. If we raise 428, 400 or whatever, in the bigger scheme of things, we made a lot happen with pennies. And I'm not saying that in the arrogant space because I know people are struggling. So like, I'm not saying that 400, almost $500,000 is like something to sneeze at. Because I don't want to come off arrogant ever. With that being the case though, there are people and companies that do way less with a whole lot more money. Like their catering budget for a year is like $500,000 type shit.
Sure.
But at a certain point, and even in doing the right thing with the bread, right? It can't be, you can't Reverend Jesse Jackson this shit. You can't Sean King this shit. It ain't, we're not supposed to get rich off this shit. My money is not in any way, shape, or form tied to Black Guns Matter. And I think that's commendable. I think that more people should strive to, after a while, we always talk about term limits, right, in Congress, which I don't know if is necessarily will solve the problem. Because what if you get like a great fucking person and then term limit and you get a shitty person? Like, you know what I mean? So that plays a part in my head, at least in that process. But anyway, if the people don't want it anymore after a while, if you've hit these goals and kept doing it, and if the people don't want it by not like galvanizing, then I gotta step off and I gotta like buy some land and grow some fruit. The best example of it that I give all the time is like when Thanos accomplished his goal, he just went to another planet and like just was growing food. And just was like, he had his fucked up arm. They blew his arm off and shit, and he was just growing food. I'm attracted to that. I'm attracted. I did a 72-hour course a month or two ago with a survival course with my man Akil from Taylor Defense Training Group, and just being in nature, like sleeping outside for 3 days, no phone, no. You got to procure your own food and water. You got to create your own temporary living shelters. You got your, just got your gun, your rifle, your sleeping bag, and your rucksack. There's something beautiful about that, and that peace, and just really detaching. If you want to talk about a revolution, to not buy into the system is the biggest revolution.
Sure.
And for me, that's what that looks like. I want to re-enlist in Black Guns Matter as a leader. If we hit our goal, I will for 4 more years. I've been very clear about that for like 2 years now. But if we don't hit the goal, I think I've done enough. I've put my time in, and I want to go like grow food and learn carpentry and learn electrician shit and plumbing. Like, we always ask of people what, like, guys are like, well, can she cook, clean? Can she do all of these wifely things? Can you build her a house?
Sure.
So I want to be like, if like Rihanna shows up and is like, can you build me a house? I can go, I sure can build you a house, baby.
Riri, baby. That's your girlfriend, man. I know.
Right.
I've been following your love affair with her, man, for a while. It's kind of funny.
That's my boo thing. But it's just now if everybody's like, because I said, if we get this $1 million is a lot of money to give away. This remaining $75,000 will go to the remainder of this year's courses, as well as a lot of the things that we have going on in regards to the Solutionary Center that we're opening in Philly. And then that other remaining $500,000, we buy the building outright. At this point, I think people understand that I've been a good steward over their donations.
Sure.
Anytime anybody see me, you ain't seen me showing up with like a Rolex. You know what I mean? These are things that I like. I like a Bentley Continental GT. I think it's an amazing vehicle. But right now, it's not time for that for me. But if we don't hit that number, Black Guns Matter will exist in the app. People can still have access to all of the people that I know. I'll still probably chop it up with people here and there, but I wanna really do, because if this shit goes the way that it's going, man, I saw a video of this dude. I don't speak Chinese, so I'm not really, or Mandarin to be more politically correct. So I don't really know if what was being said on the screen or the captions were accurate or not. But what the caption said was basically, China could overtake America by 2027. Now some of that's karma because we haven't dealt with some of the biggest atrocities that America we've done internationally and to our own countrymen and women over time. That's just the reality. That does not mean that I hate America. That doesn't mean that I'm a fucking leftist plant here to no. That's me saying yo, if you want to engage people that feel this way, you have to be honest about that, right? But how fucking bad would I feel if I'm not prepared for a major attack and your money won't fucking matter then? The dollar, crypto showing you exactly what the fuck was happening with that dollar. You know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty much inflation proof on that regard. However, imagine not being able to provide if it gets back to germs and steel type shit.
Sure.
And I would be a little bit disheartened with myself. So if we can knock some of this energy off with people supporting that way, and I'll re-enlist. But if not, I want to take the time to learn how to, basic dude stuff, or things that now aren't really necessarily identified as basic dude stuff, but it is. And so that's kind of what that looks like for me. And I know people are like, nah, you just saying that. I'm absolutely not. If anybody notices, I've been falling back off of as much gun advocacy over the last few months and been talking about homesteading and fucking homeschooling and all of that type of shit, man. I think it's power in that. It's not the type of power it's not sexy. Farmers are the coolest dudes to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's not sexy. It's not like firemen that really their job is actually to save lives when they get a call, right? That's not portrayed as sexy. And I think, paramedics, dudes that will save your cousin's life when everybody else is screaming and pulling out their phones because a shooting happened. I don't think people really get how impactful that is. So I want to learn some of that type of stuff. So I'll put some of my personal shit wants to the sides if the people go, no, we want you in this position. My work and the job that we've created with or the organization and the work and jobs that we've created around Black Guns Matter have been centered around legit working for the people. They said, we want you to keep going. I was like, all right. They said, we want you to go some more. All right. And we kept hitting these goals. And then when I literally made a tweet and made a poll and was like, yo, should we raise the goal to $1 million? And should we buy a building outright so we have a building that we own that people can come learn this type of stuff from a holistic perspective for free forever? People said yes. Now, I did my part. I did everything I said I was going to do. Now it's up to the people, and people have to understand that you also vote with your dollar and where you put your support and your energy. And if they want it, then cool. If they don't, then cool. And then somebody else may take the spot and may take it to the next level and all of that, and you pass the baton, and then I could just be Thanos without destroying half of the population, right?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? But just be Thanos, just growing a powerful being, just growing this food. I can actually be a warrior in a garden, you know?
Sure. No, that's my biggest plan, and it's cool living in Iowa now. It's like, I mean, you could buy a farm here, man, for very cheap, you know what I mean? And I never really thought about that when I was in California. It was like I always wanted a farm, but you can't buy a farm in California unless you have family that owns a farm and is leaving it to you. That's pretty much the only way you can buy a farm in California at this point. So coming to Iowa and finding places where you can buy like 5 acres for, you know, 60 grand, 50 grand, you're like, what the hell? You know, it's pretty cool stuff. But that's definitely one of my goals as well. Eventually I'll get there. I don't know. Maybe the podcast will take me there, but I've been very blessed. I got into trade work when I was like 15 years old. I've been doing it on and off for 23 years and still in the trades. And so I know that when it comes to that time, I got what it takes, Maj. So you can come hang out with us in Iowa, man. I got your back. You know what I mean?
Be over in Iowa growing food and building shit.
Yeah, you're already used to the cold snow because you live in Philly, man. It gets cold there.
That's what I'm also trying to get the fuck away from. Yo, when I say one of our final classes of the winter was in Minneapolis, right? And you know, we took the RV and whatever. It was negative 11 degrees.
Oh yeah.
I drove when I was talking, because it was the last class, and I was talking to people back home in Philly and was like, yo, bro, what's the temperature there? They was like, yo, it's 30 degrees. They was like, it's cold. I'm like, I take that 30 degrees over this negative 11 any day. I literally drove from Milwaukee. I stopped twice to go to the bathroom and straight through to Philadelphia for like to bask in 30-degree temperatures. I'm trying to get away from that cold shit.
Yeah. It's I moved to it from the warm weather, man, and it was brutal. It was my first year. We had a couple days negative 30, and I was just like, oh, dude, I don't know how I'm gonna get through it, man. But they got nice warm weather here too. You just got to get through that, 3 months of winter. That's rough.
Yeah.
We got some more super chats. Thank you, Will J, for the super chat, man. I appreciate you. Craig Daughtry, who's a big fan of yours and a really good friend of mine here in Iowa. He says, love Maj, great podcast. Hashtag Black Guns Matter. Yes. Shannon Lee, thank you for the shout out. She said, have y'all talked with the King Randall, the X for Boys? He's doing amazing stuff for black youth of Albany, Georgia. Both of you could join forces. Are you familiar with Randall?
Yeah, that's my homie. He's going to be at the Solutionary Summit.
Cool.
The Solutionary Summit is in Miami in September the 3rd through the 5th. We got him. We got Larry Sharp. We got Angela Stanton King. We got Royce the 5'9". We got Dr. Boyce Watkins. We got Tone Trump. We got Sonny Johnson. We have I sent Eric July a message. He didn't get back to me. He sucks at messaging.
He's the worst, dude. He's the worst.
We're just trying to get a smorgasbord of people. Yeah, but King Randall's doing some great work over there. Huge shouts to him. Got a building, teaching those young people. Same thing. How do you change oil? Like, how do you fix the tire? Like basic dude stuff. So yeah, I'm familiar with that. He's a good brother. He's a real good brother. To my experiences with him have led me to believe he's a really good brother.
Nice. Yeah, and you bring up the Solutionary Summit. That's something I want to talk about too. You've been talking about the Solutionary thing for a long time. You called your followers and supporters Solutionaries. What is the Solutionary Summit? What are you going for there? What is your outcome? Your intended outcome?
We just want people from all different political backgrounds to be able to hash out issues, have civil dialogue, and everybody there to leave with a solution. We want businesses that are more free market to come represent themselves. We want them to come make themselves available. We got packages for that. You come just set up a little quick booth, something small. It don't have to be this whole huge thing. Come to Miami in September when it's cold and a lot of other places. Come be warm and just talk, have these thought-provoking, and to be perfectly honest, a bit jarring conversations about things that are impactful for our communities. I invite everybody from all political backgrounds, but a lot of times, some of my friends that's more on the left, they don't really stand up and aren't willing to defend their views in rooms full of conservatives or libertarians or independents. In my experience, and inviting them to the summit, and I wish more of them would do that. But a lot of times, it's just like anything. It's easy to just tweet it, but then when you got to stand on those ideals in front of people and articulate them, without looking like a fool, you bitch up. It's like Brandon Tatum, super bitched up when I was like, yo, you talking all of this shit? Like, I got $100,000 on me, and you can get your other little man, Bryson, and y'all can come debate me Oxford style, not alive, yelling over each other on live. An actual debate has rules, winners and clear losers, and I want my wins solidified.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And so, but they don't ever want to do that. They just want to argue on social media, and I don't really have time for that shit. But the summit itself, something like that would be something where we could have that debate, and then after we disagree or agree, or one of us wins, after I win, then we can have a drink, or you can leave or chop it up. I think that a part of winning that culture war is remembering that someone can disagree with you on 20% of the issues and agree with you on 80% of them. You're not going to destroy the whole thing because of the 20%. You know what I mean? And so I think getting back to that, we've allowed media, especially social media, to seriously polarize us. And we see it, me stepping back from the elephant and looking back at the whole elephant, I'm like, well, damn, we're all doing this in all of these political so-called factions. And if you just look backwards, the founding fathers to this place, again, with their contradictions, dudes was like, hey guys, don't do like the party thing. It'll make it like a gang mentality. You know what I mean? And it has. And so the summit aims to break that. The summit aims to have people that may disagree. And a lot of times behind the scenes, I'll try to get people together that I know have issues. You know what I mean? I said a few days ago on Twitter, about, to Sarwark, I was like, look, bro, I checked you. You handled it. We moved on. Let's figure out how we can get some work done for liberty. But sometimes you got to accept that that's their freedom to not want to as well.
Sure.
No matter what they say and their actions are the opposite, they have the freedom to be contradictory. Freedom and solutions may not necessarily go hand in hand. What I mean by that is someone's freedom to be counterproductive is their freedom, but counterproductivity is not in alignment with an actual solution. So this summit, it's our second year doing it. Last year we did it in the height of so-called COVID, just to see if we could get it off. We got it off, and we were concerned about maybe the venue might get scared, but they didn't. We kept it under there. We followed their rules outside of the mask thing. Nobody, if you wanted to wear one, you could, but sure. I didn't fucking wear one, And so this in Florida, DeSantis has been kind of look, bro, we open, fuck that, you know what I mean? And so it's just creating the space for people to dialogue, and then at the end of the dialogue, come up with solutions that work together. The solutionary lifestyle it consists of 3 parts. First being empathy. Because if a person doesn't think that you give a fuck, they're not listening anyway, right? The second being facts. Once they know that you care and have expressed empathy, you guys can then express facts, because facts are very cold. If you don't have some warmth first to melt some of that cold feeling of facts, it could be counterproductive. And then we come up with the solution together, and I'm not attacking you because you on the left. Everybody's everything at certain points. Let's like an economy. A mixed economy is the flyest shit. If you make your free market money and decide to put some of it voluntarily to a social program for people that have not been as successful financially in the free market, there's a form of social voluntarism and free market right there. No government needed in that regard. You know what I mean? So it's just showing people how to get back to that conversation and respect for your position, figuring out where whatever your other freedoms that you participate in don't matter as much as, can we come up with a solution that's beneficial for the most of us while violating nobody else's individual liberties? And I think that some people will say, well, do you need a whole fucking summit to do that? Yeah, because we got decades of conditioning to the opposite. True. Of if you're not fucking in lock and step with the party line on every single thing, then fuck you. And that's not working. You look outside, or at least look at how media is portraying it. It's not the most effective thing. And we saw that in this 2016 and 2020 election. We saw, I can critique Trump. I was critiquing Trump on his Second Amendment issue because I thought he was weak. when he presented himself as a Second Amendment dude. But it wasn't there. But I could also commend him outside of some key areas like the tariffs, right? I could say, like, no, I could see how he was good for the economy or good for business. He's a business dude, so I can understand on different levels. But don't get me to like start lying and act like, you know, on either side. Don't make me seem like he was an extreme warmonger like other presidents have been, because he was like one of the only dudes that didn't necessarily get us in a war.
They didn't start any new wars.
Didn't start, right? Say it that way. Didn't start any new wars. But I don't think he was in North Korea just because he thought it was cool. I think he was over there also selling some fucking jets and some fucking fighter planes and shit. You know what I mean? So that level of being objective and finding out where we can still find a solution. If you think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, or if you think, I don't know how you think Biden is the greatest thing since sliced bread, but if you think that, okay, locally, how can we figure out some stuff that work? And that's what the Solutionary Summit is all about.
Sure. All right, so we're getting close into this thing. There's 3 more things I want to address. One of them is going to be quick. I want to know your very quick words for David Chipman.
Eat a dick.
Yes, that's all we need. That's all we need to say. Eat a dick.
Yeah.
Eat all the dicks, suck all the dicks, and get out. Okay.
Spit them out like edamame shells.
And then let's see, what was the next one I was going to go for? Shit, I don't remember. But anyways, so leading out of this thing, I want to talk a little bit about last year. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, when you really started kind of fucking with the Libertarian Party a little bit, and I know that the Mises Caucus was a big influence in that direction for you. You've worked a lot with Michael Heiss. There's good people in the Mises Caucus. That's why I'm a member of the Mises Caucus, why I ran for chair twice. But we had a big donor in the party who you told to eat a dick. And every little suburban lily wuss in the Libertarian Party lost their minds over it. I didn't, because I'm from a neighborhood that's like that. I mean, that's
right.
That's literally how we talk to each other. That's how we talk to our friends. You know?
Right. In Philly, we fuck around with, when our greeting was like, "Sup, dickhead, what you doing?" Like it's like, come on, that's not a fight. Those aren't fighting words.
Yeah, and that's where I wanted to go with that. Because so after this show's over, we're gonna end this stream and then start the members only stream. So if you're a member of the channel, you'll get you'll get to watch it live. If you're a member of the Patreon or the Subscribe Star, you'll get to see it tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. But we're gonna go in there and we're gonna talk shit about bitch ass libertarians is what we call them. But that's why I want this to lead into it. Yeah. You know, you really took a lot of shit from people who were really upset with you over you saying this to this one guy. But I mean, yeah, explain it. Like this is normal talk, man.
Well, and it wasn't a lot of shit. It was internet talk.
Sure.
It didn't affect my life. Like some of my friends are like, did 20 years in the military and have PTSD, legit. They were exposed to a type of war that I've never seen, and I hope I never do. Firemen, again, paramedics are exposed to potential death daily, and they're saving life. They're going through some stress.
Sure.
Some people that can't fight or never been punched in the face saying stuff, like, you can't even, like I have, like, black privilege. Like, I have, like, American privilege. I have, like, white privilege. Like, you can't even, like, Louis C.K. is one of my favorite comedians, and he made this joke where he was like, you can't even hurt my feelings. Like, you can't, like, and he said in the joke, he said, what are you going to do, call me a cracker? He's like, oh, reminding me to a time where white people owned people and, like, land. Ruined my day. Now, it was funny to me because I like dark humor, right? Sure. But it was, the truth to that was, like these guys saying this shit, that shit wasn't hard at all.
Right.
That shit was like, if anything, it helped. It helped the movement.
Right.
It helped prove what I was saying the whole time. Like, yo, Operation Toughen Up Libertarians. Like, we are like, libertarians, even the guys that I disagree with, that I don't think are tough enough, they're really smart on certain levels. They're not wise, and they may not have the best social skills and how to implement that to people that are outside of their circle. But like knowing history and knowing the liberty, those dudes are smart and those women are smart. They're intimidated by having to deal with people from my demographic that, when shared what the libertarian concept will not allow certain levels of passive aggressive or disrespect. It's difficult when you've created a bubble of people that are absolutely going to respect your version of the non-aggression principle. Where in our world, in Oakland, in Philly, your words are a form, right, wrong, or indifferent.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
How you say something to somebody is a form of violation of the non-aggression principle. I may not agree with that, but the people that will understand liberty, that will toughen the party up, you're going to have to reevaluate how you come at those people.
Yes.
And so because of that, that presents a difficulty for this nice, complete little bubble that you've created for yourself, because you're smart. And libertarians respect smarts, you know? So I understand the reason why that was there. I think the dude, I don't know, like somebody told me, I heard like dude actually was gay or something like that. And I didn't say eat a dick like as like a slur. It was like, no, like not like a homosexual slur. It was more like, fuck out of here. Like, you know what I mean? And so that's good. That's good, man. A lot of the people that, like they thought like saying stuff was going to make me like not do stuff.
True.
You know, or if I said something, I wasn't going to stand on it. And I am. If I tell you to eat a dick or fuck you on Twitter, I'm going to say that to you in real life, in your face. And I'm going to check you on that. And the problem is the same people that say, oh, we don't fight with our hands, we fight with our words. Two things. One, they're not really equipped to really have that conversation with their words in real life and like in real time. And you, in this world, some people will not give a fuck about your value system. They won't. They don't have to. That is another part of freedom. The wiser of us in that regard, firemen.
Yeah.
The wiser of us in that regard know how to still figure out how to maneuver in that space and are strong enough to, if it go left, I can defend myself.
True.
But that doesn't mean that like Maj is gonna bring in the goon squad that's gonna just be slapping everybody around just because Maj said so. No, it's your actions in the real world. The stuff that you say or tweet has consequences, and some people value that as you violate and you initiate an act of aggression towards them, right, wrong, or indifferent. That's how they view it. So it was good, and I've seen people get tougher. I've seen the people that were just throwing stones and hiding their hands. I've seen other people go like, well, damn, bro, maybe there's some truth to that. So this was all necessary. There's a great movie called The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise, and he gets kidnapped, and then he winds up being a samurai or some shit. And when he's talking to the the leader that had initially had him captive, and then he wound up learning, he would meditate in like this by this tree with all of these like lotus flowers. And then when he was dying at the end, because the phrase was, meditating under a lotus flower, a man could look for the perfect lotus flower for his entire life, never seeing a perfect one, and it wouldn't be a life wasted because, and then when he was dying, he looked up at the lotus flowers and he was like, oh, he had a realization like, oh, they're all perfect. They're all perfect. So this seeming chaos that I in no way, shape, or form was moved by,
sure,
like that shit was great for the movement. It was great. It articulated a point that I don't think the Mises Caucus or Mike could have explained more clearly than like, look what there's, and they did the same thing with Hotep Jesus.
Yep.
They do the same thing with Eric July.
Yep. And
they're looking like the fools. And I don't think that a lot of them are like racist, because I'm not really keen on throwing that word at people, But what it does is it shows like you guys have a bias. Maybe it's not black dudes. Maybe it's just urban dudes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the urban culture. You're not fucking black. So it's like if they have an issue with you, it's maybe because he has a different, take on things from a tougher place, and the things that you're, triggered by, that shit, man, bro, like people have tried to murder me. Like that shit, anything outside of that, everything else just sounds like loud music at best to me. You know, so like, nah, that shit was good. I'm glad they did that. I hope they continue to do it. Because people watching that's not saying nothing are going like, nah, something's not right there. And they're going towards the caucuses that are more supportive of subcultures, for lack of a better term, without pandering.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And I think the Mises Caucus does a good job of that. You know what I mean? And that's not because Mike's my homie. It's because I'm paying attention and I watch, you know, and I may not know all of the terminology, but when you start getting everything down to that lowest common denominator, a lot of things are exactly the same. So I love that it went that way. It actually helped a whole lot.
Hell yeah, man. I agree. I can totally see it, brother. So, hey, why don't you let all these people know where they can find you, support you, all that good stuff, man?
Yeah, man. Just social media at Maj Toure, MajToure. I have 2 YouTube channels. I'm gonna start talking more politics and just viewpoints and stuff like that on YouTube.com/Maj Toure. That only got like 400 subscribers. I made it like a decade ago and just never used it. But the more populated one is YouTube.com/Black Guns Matter. If you want to support the work, man, on all of the platforms, you can get to, the websites. But, donate, GoFundMe.com/Black Guns Matter. I want everybody to come to the Solutionary Summit. We need more libertarians coming to Miami for the Solutionary Summit. Right now it's real heavy on the right, but it's a lot of Republicans and conservatives. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying a better thing is if more Florida-based, especially, so it's less travel. Right. But if you from anywhere in the country, you want to set up a booth at the Solutionary Summit, email us, solutionarylifestyle@gmail.com. And that's it, man. And if you're going through something outside of all of that support, buy some merch. Yeah, great. T-shirts is $25. Cool, no doubt. But outside of that, man, if you're going through something, if you're having an issue in the libertarian world, there's a conflict, even if the conflict is with somebody that you think that I disagree with, and if you just need an ear, you need to chop it up, email me, MajToure@gmail. Like, if you're going through some shit, you ready to murder somebody. My friend, about a month ago, murdered himself and burned down his family's home. You know what I mean? I wish he would have fucking called me.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So if you're going through something, if you're a vet and you came to this libertarian, a lot of libertarians are libertarians because they did some time in the military. And they like, this is some bullshit. You know what I mean? If you're going through that, there's 22 vets. I'm against the war state, but seemingly ironically, I support those vets that initially probably joined they got conditioned. They believed something, you know what I mean? But in seeing things, vets are committing like 22 suicides a day, So if you're going through something, man, email me. I'll send me your number. Let's chop it up. Because I would rather hear your bullshit that you're going through than read your fucking obituary. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's where everybody can get with me.
All right, Maj. Hey, man, I really appreciate it. For you guys who are watching, if you're a member of the YouTube channel, which you can join by hitting join under any of our videos, Maj, as soon as this stream is over, Maj and I are going to go into a private members-only stream to talk shit about Nicholas Sarwark for several minutes, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And then if you're a patron through Patreon or a subscribe star, then you will get that video maybe later tonight or tomorrow morning. Either way, I will make sure that you guys get it. Maj, you are amazing, man. I really appreciate all the work you're doing. I will see you soon.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you.
Yep, you too. All right, guys, another awesome episode to Break the Cycle. You guys rule. Thank you so much for checking it out. Maj is just the coolest guy. Go support him. Let's get him to that goal, guys. Why not, right? Check out our sponsors at lorenzotti.coffee for all your delicious Italian coffee needs. Bring the taste of Italy home. Use BTC at checkout for a 10% discount. Of course, toplobster.com, my partner in Break the Cycle, the coolest dude when it comes to graphic design. Check out this awesome Epstein Didn't Kill Himself shirt. You can get hundreds and hundreds of other great designs over there at toplobster.com. And if you become a patron or a subscribe star, or now if you do join a membership of the channel, I will get you in the Discord server. That means you will get Top Lobster's new designs weeks before they go out to the general public at a 30% discount. So you're getting some pretty dope swag, really cheap, awesome shirts for like $12 to $15. Great sweatshirts, backpacks, hats, all that great stuff. And executive producers of the show, Anthem Planning, for all your emergency and crisis planning needs. Check them out today, see what they can do for you or your business. They're doing something the government sucks at much more efficiently and definitely cheaper. Coming up on the show, guys, tomorrow I'm going to have the most controversial man on the internet, Jeremy Kauffman, the man behind the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire's tweets, also the creator of Odyssey Library, and a big hand in the Pork Fest. He's going to be awesome. On what's today? Tuesday. So Thursday, I'm going to have Patrick Kirby, the creator of Max Justice, on. He's a super cool guy, man. If you haven't watched Max Justice, go check it out on YouTube. It's a web series about a superhero that blows up heads. It's really cool. And then Friday, my homie Buck Johnson's going to be on from Counterflow. I'm super stoked for that. He's actually the first guy I ever interviewed for this show back when it was just a audio podcast. He's changed. Things have come a long way. It's going to be a good show. Guys, I will see you tomorrow night for the episode with Jeremy Kauffman. If you're a member of this channel, go find the new link. It's on my feed. I posted it yesterday and again tonight. So that you can watch Maj and I talk some shit about Nick Sarwark and bitch-ass Libertarian. It's going to be a good time. But until then, make sure you guys break the cycle.
Due to legal reasons, I just have to explain. The lyrics of my last song may seem to contain a violent call to action in the verse and refrain, but I just landed in Minecraft. The helicopter part was in reference to GTA 5 and the things you do. So any violence you commit, I am not an excuse, because I just landed in Minecraft. Well, Chipper is my friend and he's constantly cold. Accusations of incitement getting totally old. Make your own choices, yeah, you have control, because I just landed in Minecraft. Obviously I would never advocate force, unless there's due process and a trial, of course. And if you're convicted, we will make you a corpse. In Minecraft, just in Minecraft. Nothing I mean, you know it. No product finish, cause it closed from COVID.